Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Following is a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of the show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of this station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information hereafter is for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care physician.
One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you smaller.
Your Health Matters with Karl Sterling on News Radio 570 WSYR on 106.9 FM and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
I take a couple uppers, I down a couple downers, but nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills.
Bring you the latest in health and wellness so you can get to the other things that matter. Here's your host, Karl Sterling.
Good morning, Syracuse. Good morning, Central New York. And good morning, Elizabeth. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, and how are you?
I feel really good.
That's good.
Feel great. Thank you. Producers, Karl and Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You make our job easy. Well, what's going on today? Beautiful day. The weather's so nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice.
I mean,
it's a little cloudy right now, but
this weather, yeah, it's just perfect. You know, I don't really like the heat like I used to like it. It's become more difficult as I get older. I don't know why. Well, anyways, we're going to talk about some stuff today that I think is going to make some of you not like me anymore. Not that you like me at all anyways right now, but, you know, we have also ridiculous humor, which I can't help myself, can I? No, I can't help myself. But what you hear is what you get. Just going to regurgitate some information I've been studying because, you know, we are a longevity-focused radio show program. And, of course, our clinic over in Camillus in Preventive Medicine Associates building is a longevity-centered clinic. We'll talk a bit about that today and what we do. But today's topic, we'll get to it soon because we're always trying to bring information, including world-class guests and experts who can help us to learn things to do to increase our health span within our lifespan. I say it a lot. I want to live long and healthy and die quick. Not soon, but quick. I hope all you die quick, too, just not soon.
Right.
There's nothing, you know, I can't imagine what it would be like to have a long, agonizing death. And I say that respectfully. You know, we've had family members go through this in my family, and I don't know.
My family, yes.
Yeah, my dad. You know, I love my dad. He went through a few really tough years at the end. And, you know, my grandmother on my mom's side, yeah, it was really, really hard. It's very heartbreaking. It's
very
sad.
heartbreaking.
And, you know, we didn't know the things that we do now about Alzheimer's. That's what Grandma had. But, you know, we do know a lot now. So that's why we're here. Share this stuff with you. And in my notes, it says, live long and well and die fast. I have a little quote here that I like to share because I found myself doing this for much of my life until probably just only maybe 5 years ago. You know, those blood clots in Singapore that really nearly killed me. I probably could have died very easily. Thank God I was in Singapore, though, because the medical is really good there. If you're going to go to the hospital in a country that's not, you know, I could have been in places where the medical was really bad and maybe just keeled.
Yes.
And it'd be all over. But a lot of perspectives changed when my life was at stake there. And here's a quote that I like. Most people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to death. I'm going to say it again. most people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to death. Oh, why? Oh, I don't know. I didn't write any notes on why. I'm just thinking the reasons I would do this. Things like, oh, I wonder what people will think of me. I wonder if, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know why I would do some of these things, like tiptoe, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, which is true. I never want to hurt anybody's feelings. So I figure if I'm not hurting anybody, I'm actually trying to help. Some people think I'm a little bit, todo loco, and mi cabeza, and my cerebro, my brain, and my head is I'm not normal. I can't be normal and what we do at our clinic's not normal. We're not going to share probably normal information here because that gets normal results, and normal is not acceptable, not in this day and age. So in Singapore, I really had a perspective shift about stepping outside of the box and just really telling some truths. Like Dr. Berry built up, he speaks truths.
Oh, yes, he does.
Oh, I love it. Thanks to Dr. Berry for building up this program. We're still the number one program during this spot, by far. And he built it, and it's even growing since then. So thank you, everybody, for listening. We are grateful. What a beautiful thing. But tiptoeing just doesn't work. Sometimes there are things you just have to do and take the bull by the horns, take control over whatever situations maybe in your life that are bugging you that you can make better. Could be a relationship, could be a family relationship, could be a physical, a health thing, a job thing, anything, right? Sometimes, especially if you do it with class, respect, and dignity, you can really make a difference and take control without hurting anybody's feelings and stop tiptoeing and get to death having actually done something. Now, I'm just saying a lot of you have done so much already. So I'm just speaking for those who might be living like I used to live, which is very cautiously. I can't be cautious anymore. I am cautious, but I'm in different ways. I'm going to step out of the box.
You're not jumping out of planes, though.
No. And the other thing I have here, just maybe a thought provoker. If you learn things that you absolutely know 100%, there's no doubt, and all the evidence and the proof is there, that this information, if you take it and utilize it and put it into action, if you have this knowledge and you combine it with your free will by making choices, because we do have free will, you could put all these things together and live your best life. So why don't some people do this? I don't know. I don't have the answer, but I can tell you that I think we all probably have the right to be healthy and happy. That's, we could judge a lot of things there. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to be like Father Malachi, not like him. He's a conceptual human being, but think more like God than a human. I try not to judge. I'm human. I do sometimes. Sorry, it happens. But, I really want to be tolerant of a lot of things and understanding of as much as I can. Some things I don't understand.
You know what I think sometimes? Because this is an instantaneous world. They want results instantaneous. And if it doesn't happen, they just get discouraged and stopped. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Yeah. Well, we'll definitely get into that more today. So, let's go through, before the first break, let's go through some other things. Okay, the book of the week has been around for a few years. It's called Metabolical. Just spell the word metabolic and add A-L at the end, and there you go. Metabolical by Dr. Robert Lustig. Lustig. He's written many books. I have all of his books. I love all of his books. This book is a complete game changer. I got it as soon as it came out 4, 5, 6 years ago. I don't even know. It's worth the investment. Get the book, because all of what we're going to talk about today has to do with what's in that book. It just so happens that book correlates with our subject matter today. I didn't take it from that book. Yet I probably could have. Podcast of the week.
I'm just say the name of the podcast. It's called Feel Better, Live More. Feel Better, Live More. Dr. Ranjan Chatterjee. Okay, I'm going to just spell the name. Rangan. Ranjan Chatterjee. It's chatter, the word chatter with J-E-E at the end. Okay, so I happened to come across that podcast a while back, and then I found Rajan, Dr. Chatterjee, talking with Dr. Robert Lustig, who wrote Metabolical. Holy cow, that episode just blew my mind. And by the way, on the break, I'll put those up on my website, so you can go to the website and go to the book podcast of the week, and you'll see them there. Maybe on the bottom of the hour break, I'll put them up because I forgot to do that before I came in. So we got to head out to another break. Our first break. You're listening to Your Health Matters, NewsRadio 570 WSYR. I'm with my co-host, my friend Elizabeth Brusa. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back right after this break, folks. Thanks for listening. We're back already. Hey, that's cool. All right. Well, let's continue. So you know the book of the week, Metabolical, podcast of the week, Feel Better, Live More with Dr. Ranjan Chatterjee. Now remember, folks, you can go to karlsterling.com. That's Karl with a K. You can join our email list. You can join our SMS or daily text message list. In both of those, you can keep up on different things. You know, keep up on what radio shows. I have another show I'm doing in Nashville, WLAC. It's an iHeart station. Thank you, Hunter Hillers, for making all this happen here in Syracuse and Nashville. And so all the episodes, I email them out, and the SMS list has daily 8 a.m., like clockwork every day, just about 8 a.m. longevity nuggets, okay? Remember that we're here to help you to have a unique experience listening, learning, and in our clinic, Neuromotor Training Camillus, we're also here to help you with a unique experience not found anywhere else around town. I mean, we're pretty much a one-off in the Northeast. And that's because we have stuff that nobody does, and we do things nobody else does. And when people come in, you have to come in to see it, because if you come in and you see it, there's no charge to come in and check it out. You probably want to have an appointment, though, so that you can get a little tour and have a little time with you to see what's happening, see what people in action. I'm going to tell you there's nothing like it. And I'm not saying because I'm bragging. I'm saying because that's what we worked for, because we need results that they carry, outside of our clinic, and they go outdoors with you. Like, they go into your daily activities of daily living. Think better, move better, feel better, cognate. That's my new word, cognitive. Cognate better.
Cognate.
And your word you made up is cognivity.
Yep, I did make that word up.
I love that one. So we want to raise the bar. We are raising the bar on training the brain body simultaneously. Yep, you're going to build muscle. You're going to work on balance. You're going to work on agility, mobility, stability. But you're going to do it while you're thinking, while you're gaming, all kinds of, I don't mean like video games. Although we do have an Oculus virtual reality headset, which has some very cool games in it.
And the Bobo.
And the Bobo game. Oh, yeah, Bobo is really cool. So it's an interactive experience. You're developing muscle, balance, and you're training the brain at the same time. So that's what we're about. I get so excited I just start talking about all this stuff because I love it so much. Today's topic, though, is good fat versus bad fat. Or we could talk about metabolic health and fat. We're going to hit all of it. So I got this little bit of belly fat, doesn't want to go away. And I think I figured out part of the reason. Let's talk about the causes and the impact of belly fat for a minute. All right. Stress. Stress is highlighted as the main cause of belly fat rather than food intake. The argument is that stress, particularly chronic stress, disrupts metabolic processes and leads to the accumulation of harmful fat, particularly visceral fat around the organs. Okay, so we were talking about belly fat. We're going to get into more details, though, so fear not. We will talk about it. The societal structure that we live in. This is a fast-paced life we have. I mean, it's a lot faster than it was 30 years ago, 50 years ago.
Yep.
Remember being a kid and playing outdoors?
Yes.
Yeah. You weren't playing, like, games on your TV
No.
with people around the world. You were outdoors.
Kickball, baseball, bike riding.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, things like exercise.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Jump roping.
You could make it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the societal structure prevents many individuals from effectively managing stress. And this negatively impacts not just metabolic health, but mental health, emotional health. And they go as far as to saying, the experts, Dr. Lustig and some others, global and planetary health. We'll get more into that. Okay, so moving right along, there are misconceptions about obesity. All right, so stay with me here. This gets kind of complicated, but we'll simplify it the best that we can. 20% approximately of obese individuals are metabolically healthy. You get that? Okay. While 60% of people with a normal or healthy body weight, are metabolically unhealthy. And this is indicating that weight alone is not a reliable indicator of metabolic health. I find it fascinating that there are people, when I've run different races, or a couple of years ago in Palmerton, Pennsylvania, did a Spartan Beast race with like 25 obstacles, 7.3 miles. And that's that's like straight out of the gates. You're going 1.1 miles straight up a ski slope.
That's amazing.
And I, fairly lean and very little extra weight in the belly, probably about the same as now. And there are people much larger than me with a larger guts who are just crushing me on this thing. So their body composition looked and appeared to be, well, maybe not so good. Yet metabolically, I'm guessing a lot of them are pretty healthy. So, 20% of them at least. Right? And then there's the ones who look leaner than me, stronger than me, younger than me, and I'm crushing them. Because it actually did happen. Yes, I crushed a few folks, not many, but a few, which might mean they're metabolically not that healthy. It's absolutely, totally fascinating. So don't get the idea that obesity is healthy and good. It's not. The discussion includes a need to really rethink the relationship between body fat and health. Right? There's so much to it. They have, I was just saying this week with this doctor, I can't remember her name. I got to try to get her on the show here, about mitochondrial dysfunction.
Okay.
Yeah. Mitochondria is something we really love to talk about. Mitochondria is the power pack of every cell in your body. And when you have mitochondria that's not being fed well, there's metabolic dysfunction. You have mitochondria that's not creating the energy you need. You can feel lethargic, weak, tired. So mitochondria it's kind of like everything. It's a foundation. Let's talk about fat depots in the body, depots. So we have various types of fat. The one that we can see, all right, the one that we can see is called subcutaneous fat. Okay, it's under the skin. It's where your body naturally stores excess fat under the skin. For a lot of us, it's in the belly. For some people, it tends to go to the rear end area, maybe the thighs. The belly, rear end, but maybe just around the mid, if I reach down down and around. I can pinch something on my back, above my rear end. I can pinch a little here, all the way around. It's like a little emergency flotation device I have.
You're too hard on yourself sometimes.
Well,
Sometimes.
learning more about this fat and how we accumulate it, what causes it, and then how to get rid of it is, to me, very fascinating. So let's see, what else does it say here? Under the naturally stores excess fat, this type of fat is relatively safe. Okay, this fat is actually relatively safe. I would say, all in all, it's the safest of the 4 types of fat we're going to talk about. And one of them's not listed, but I just have it in my head.
Is it the easiest to get rid of?
I don't think so.
Oh. Okay.
So let's talk about this. Yeah, we have enough time. Okay. This type of fat is relatively safe unless it becomes excessive. Now, research, this would be, I think, is UC San Francisco. I think that's where Lustig is. Dr. Lustig talks about over 22 pounds of this type of fat can start causing problems. What I don't know is it relative to all body sizes? I don't think so. It has to be, maybe it's an average. But, I've had 22 pounds. I've had 70 pounds of this on me. It's really bad. And now I probably have 10 pounds on me. So it can start to cause problems when there's too much.
I don't know if this is still true. But when I was in my 20s, I went to the doctor. I was having some health issues. And he says for every foot, 20 pounds, for every inch, 5 pounds is where you should begin your weight. I don't know if that's true, because that would put me at 105 pounds for my weight.
Oh, maybe we'll get out a calculator on the break, and I'll figure you and me out and see how it looks.
Okay.
Because in following pages, there are some other calculations that are interesting, and they talk about BMI.
Yeah.
You know how I always say, don't go by that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, there's
understand.
reasons for that. So, okay, so now you know about the fat you can see, the subcutaneous. All right, let's go to the visceral fat. Well, this accumulates around the organs. It's deep within you. Okay, it's driven. Now, here's the thing about this. My visceral fat went up in the past 3 months. The score that we need to have optimal is between 1 and 12. Now, I'm not sure what that is related to. I don't believe it's percentage. It's a scoring system on this particular body composition device that I have. I've been floating between 12 and 13 for years. I did get down to 12 last year. I was in it early this year. Then it went up to 13. Now it's at 14. The highest I've been, since I started measuring. This is driven primarily by chronic stress rather than food intake. So when we're stressed, there's this hormone that kicks in. It's called cortisol. Cortisol, without it, we'd be dead. With too much of it, we can die too. But it would take a long time probably. But the bottom line is stress triggers cortisol. Too much cortisol triggers growth of visceral fat in and around your organs. One nickname for visceral fat is heart attack fat. So this is bad fat. And when we look at it, we're talking about visceral fat is harmful because even small amounts can significantly increase the risk of chronic diseases. We're talking about heart problems, cancer. We're talking about metabolic dysfunction. We're talking about maybe kidney issues, all kinds of things that can affect these organs and your overall health. So when we talk about even a small amount, we're talking about 5 pounds. Imagine 5 pounds of fat in and around your organs. Well, I don't know. Maybe I got 5.5 or 6. I don't know, because again, this is another thing we need to figure out. We just know that too much of this is bad. And then we have liver fat, the most dangerous type of fat, with just 0.5 pound of liver fat being enough to cause serious metabolic issues. Liver fat is driven by the consumption, primarily these days. There are two things: alcohol, and lots of it, and fructose. Too much sugar. All right. We got a break there because this is a good time to break so we can come back and continue talking about liver fat and how it differs these days when you have fatty liver disease than it did 50 years ago, because there's a difference. Fascinating. And then we have another kind of fat to talk about that pretty much no one's ever thought of or heard of, but you'll know as soon as we talk about it, you can relate to it. So thank you for helping me here, Elizabeth, and Sarah, and Kyla. You're all awesome. This is Karl Sterling, Your Health Matters, here on 570 WSYR, also on 106.9 FM. We'll be back after this. Alrighty, we're back. We're talking about good fat versus bad fat. So just going through real quick, subcutaneous fat is the safest fat, if you will. It's the least threatening. Generally speaking, however, too much of that is always bad. Visceral fat accumulates around the organs, driven primarily by chronic stress. Oh, I didn't say this. Like this week is very, very, very stressful for me. In fact, this whole 3 months. And I think that could be why my visceral went up. So I've got to take control over some things, right? The radio show, folks, yeah, this is like vacation here. I love it so much. This is not a stressful thing for me. It's a wonderful place to share. Okay, and then we have liver fat, the most dangerous type of fat. Remember, just half a pound is enough in the liver to cause some serious metabolic issues. It's caused primarily by the consumption of fructose, or let's say sugars, but the fake sugars are really the ones that are going to get you. So, and alcohol. Well, let's talk real quick. So, as some of the experts out there say, if you had fatty liver disease 50 years ago or before that, you were an alcoholic, period. Almost all the time. But guess what? Nowadays, yes, we have alcoholics. But guess what else we have? Because years after I stopped drinking, I still have fatty liver. I don't know if some of it was carryover or my diet wasn't good enough. But for 3 years in a row now, my liver enzymes are perfect. So we have different food. Yep. Look at the food supply. We talked about it last week. 58% of all the food out there available, just anywhere, anything, anywhere, grocery stores, little fast convenience stores, restaurants, 58%. It's processed.
Yep.
So that's what's doing it, folks. That's largely what's doing it. That's the difference, I should say, in how much. Okay, I'm going to say this: 45% of the population, adult population in this country, in the United States. I didn't say the obese population. I said the population. 45% have non-alcohol fatty liver disease. That's almost 1 out of 2 people.
That's amazing. It's scary.
Mm-hmm. And 25% of all children, 12 years and under, not obese children, all children, 25% have non-alcohol fatty liver disease. So when we look at this, well, no wonder healthcare is just spinning off the charts in all kinds of ways. Insurance doesn't want to reimburse doctors, and because they're paying out so much money. Yeah, they're making money too. Of course they are. They wouldn't be in business. That's why, they talk about big food creates the disease. We eat the disease. Big pharma keeps you from dying and manages your disease for as long as you stay alive. But do you change your habits so you cannot have the disease anymore? I'm not asking you personally. I'm looking at Elizabeth while I say this.
Well, there's a lot of factors into that.
Oh, there's a ton. Yeah,
Since we've grown up, and there's 6 years between us, but that's not that much. But, I mean, my mother stayed home. She was a stay-at-home mom. Now you got both working parents. It's hard for a woman to come home, or a man, excuse me, I'm not going to, but a woman or a man to come home from work and then have to prepare a whole meal from scratch. It's easier just to take a microwave thing or order a pizza or order anything nowadays and just have it in front of you. So that's one factor.
100%. You know, Dr. Perry Nicholson, who we love so much, was on last week talking about gut inflammation. We didn't get into talking about leaky brain, but leaky gut's real, despite what some doctors think. Leaky brain is real, despite what they think, too. Forward-thinking, out-of-the-box doctor like Dr. Berry, Dr. Cobb, Dr. Sterling, my son, Dr. Rotella, they know about all this stuff. So they want to get to the root of this. And the root of all this, we can't blame it. If you know this, see, here's the thing. If you know what we are sharing and you know this stuff, and if you've been listening to this show and you listen to Dr. Berry before this, then you know. You're in the know, as they say. So now you can make an informed decision. It's on you to make the decisions to eat the right stuff. And if you choose not to, like I do sometimes, not that often, but I do, I'm going to admit it, I know I have some inflammation. I have some issues. But I'm healthy, but I know. So most of my decisions are pretty good, but probably 20-25% of them are not so good. But if you know, you can't blame big food anymore because you know. Now, there's more to that, too. It's not that simple. I mean, there's stuff that's probably in food that it looks like it's healthy, and the marketing and the words on the box or whatever, it pulls you in, organic this, grass-fed that. And it could be all kinds of other crap in it, too. But, you know, you really have to investigate this stuff. You know, would your grandmother have eaten it 100 years ago? Well, if not, you know, it's probably not something that you want to be putting in your body. So it's really, at this point, with the knowledge we have, with this knowledge, we can make informed decisions. So it's really time to make choices. What are your choices going to be? Whose burden do you want to be down the road? I always say that because think about it, folks. I mean, you know, other than the things you can't control, you know, there's genetics sometimes, there's unforeseen circumstances, there's unforeseen accidents. God forbid something happens to any of you. You know, tragedies, diagnosis, you know, some of the healthiest people in the world, they're out there, they finish a marathon, they go to the doctor, they have a physical, everything's perfect, and they drop dead the next day. Well, you know, I mean, you can't, you know, they were living pretty healthy. They were like the healthiest dead person there is probably, but if you know what I mean. Choices.
I heard a story about like that. A friend of mine's uncle went jogging. I mean, he was a phenomenal athlete, perfect body weight and everything. Went to Disney World with his family, went out for a jog, dropped dead in Disney World jogging. He had a brain aneurysm. I think it was a brain, but that they never knew about, and he just dropped dead, and he was like one of the healthiest people.
It's just, you know, you can't control everything, but we can control a lot of things. So your food choices are among your control. Yeah, I find it interesting. We're going to talk about this last type of fat, too, before we go to break. But I do find it interesting that now the amount of fatty liver disease out there, 45% of the adult population, 25% of the 12 and under population, children. That's huge. That's enormous. Okay, so the last type of fat we want to talk about today is called intramuscular fat. Okay, so this is like, you know, you buy a steak and you order steak and you're cutting through, and I don't know, what's a steak that has some marble in it? You know, you cut through and there's some fat and you've got a
T-bone.
Maybe a T-bone, I think.
I think it's T-bone.
Chris Sesta might have told me this the other day.
Yeah.
Chris is going to be joining us down the road. He's going to be joining us here to talk about some things like not overeating not over ordering at a restaurant, trying to make some healthy choices. He owns the In-Between restaurant. Amazing place.
Amazing place.
Yeah, and as a good friend of ours comes in a lot to work out at our clinic. But anyways, you get that fat. We have that as humans. And we'll talk more about it when we come back from the break. But we have intramuscular fat. I'm sure just about all of us, or probably all of us, have some degree of it. How much? Well, it depends. Some people probably have a lot of it. Some people don't have that much of it. But it is pretty interesting to study all these. And now when we come back, we'll talk about more so where they come from in a little bit more depth and what you can do to get rid of them. Okay, so go to karlstirling.com, by the way, please. Karl with a K. By the end of the next break, I'll have the book of the week. That's already up. And the podcast of the week on there, so you can click on them and go and check them out. This is News Radio 570 WSYR. Your Health Matters. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thanks for listening. Okay, we're back. Hey, if we didn't have sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do the show. We couldn't do it. I want to talk to you about a sponsor that we love. And we talked about it before, and we love it so much, we're going to keep talking about it a lot, every week a little bit, okay? Especially if you happen to be a personal trainer, you're in the fitness business, the movement specialist business, a physical therapist, or you just want to move better yourself and you want to learn some things and use a cool tool to help you with posture and joint positioning and all this kind of stuff. Well, the motion guidance system, the laser system we use, is so cool. So I'm just read this because it's better if I do this. If you're looking to elevate your training and rehabilitation, motion guidance can help you reach your goals faster and with much greater precision. Motion guidance is an innovative tool that provides real-time visual feedback. And this, my friends, is going to help you see exactly how you're moving so you can make instant adjustments. So if you can imagine, and we do this all the time at a clinic, right? We put the head strap on, we put the laser on the head, and then we put a person in the optimal position we want them to be posturally, but also safe at the same time. So there's a little thing about posture. If you're looking to improve your posture and you're really leaned forward or sideways or both, if you stand up too quick, too straight, too quickly, you actually could throw off your center of gravity or equilibrium, and you could be prone to falling. And a lot of times those people tend to fall backwards. Well, you don't want that. First of all, that's the worst kind of fall. The next thing is, well, you probably won't move well if your equilibrium is off, even if you don't fall, right? So you've got to stand up as straight as you can in this particular example, because we can use this for other things, or joint positioning, range of motion on, elbow, hip, knee, shoulder. But imagine you're fine-tuning this, and you're walking, and that laser's pointing towards a target on the wall, and you're keeping that laser on the target, because if you don't, it means you're not in optimal position walking, or you're not in the desired position that you've been put in. You can do this to yourself. It's just so easy. And I don't know the price. If you go to karlstirling.com, that's Karl with a K, go to the sponsors page, radio sponsors. It's the first one on the page. And just click there. You go to their site for a couple $100, somewhere in there, $300, $400, whatever it is. It's not like it's nothing. It's just that for what it offers, it's amazing. And they have all kinds of videos on their site, and a link, I believe, to a YouTube channel, or just go to YouTube and look up motion guidance. You can see what they use it for. It's one of the best tools out there, right? So, you could be an athlete, or, striving for peak performance, or physical therapist, maybe guiding patients to recovery, or just someone who's dedicated to improving movement. The motion guidance system is your go-to solution. Super easy to set up. And when you charge the darn laser, the thing lasts for weeks. You don't have to charge it for a long time. Easy to set up, portable, easy to use at home, in the gym, clinic. It's cutting-edge technology. We love it. Go check it out, karlstirling.com, and go to the sponsors page. Let's get back into this intramuscular fat.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm out of, like they said in that movie Firefox with Clint Eastwood, Your papers are out of order. Back to the other one here for a minute, folks. I'm sorry. My papers are out of order. Chronic stress is described as a key driver of visceral fat. Chronic stress leads to the release of cortisol. We covered that, but I want to just really cover it a little bit more completely, which shifts fat storage from subcutaneous to the visceral around the organs. Acute stress triggers the sympathetic nervous system, and that triggering of that nervous system causes the body to release fat for energy, right? But chronic stress has the opposite effect, promoting fat storage in the visceral area. Very bad. There's another thing. I saw this the other day again on the Huberman Lab podcast. You know how some people fidget like I do?
Yes.
So apparently fidgeting, whether you're bouncing your leg, doing something, that actually burns calories.
I believe it.
Yeah, and actually it can help, believe it or not, I kid you not, it can actually help to manage weight to some degree. I'm not saying you should go around bouncing your feet or fidgeting all the time, but it's just a random fact. I had to share it. So the impact of, let's get into this intramuscular fat. So, you cut through the steak, you get the marbly stuff in there, and, I don't like to eat that, but some doctors and people think it's really good for you, and maybe it is. I don't know. I prefer just to eat the meat itself. We've had people with the unit that we have to do body composition. We've had people who probably have a lot of intramuscular fat. And the reason I say that is the one thing that our particular body composition scanner does not do, and it does a lot, and it's very accurate, especially when it's compared to the bod pod, at some of these universities. It's very, very close, within a couple percent. So we've had people come in and measure their muscle amount, right? Total muscle mass, and then each arm, each leg. And that's pounds of muscle. And of course, it's also measuring how many pounds of what percentage of fat is in each arm, leg, trunk, and total body fat. So there are people, though, who have lost a significant amount of weight, and they were working out, and we know they're building muscle, but it shows that they're losing muscle. We know that they're not, because what's happening is when that scale measures muscle, if there's intramuscular fat in the scale, it thinks it's muscle, and it counts it as muscle weight or muscle weight.
You're right.
So if you have a scale like that and you find your muscle mass is going down, but you're dropping weight and you see your belly shrinking and whatever, and geez, I'm getting really tongue-tied. Yeah. So I have so many things to say, and my mouth won't keep up with my brain.
You get excited.
I do. It really is exciting to me. Then it could take weeks or months, but then we get that fat down. Well, when we get that intramuscular fat down, then we get the real numbers on the muscle mass. Then we can see muscle growth. So just a little caveat, folks, I wanted to share with you. So the impact, though, of stress on health, chronic stress is linked to a broad range of health issues, including metabolic syndrome and mental health disorders. The modern environment, our very busy environment with all kinds of signals and Bluetooth and obesogens that we're in contact with, is constantly signaling stress, which in turn affects, our dietary habits, sleep, and overall health. I know that might have sounded a little disjointed, but it's true. This stress can actually trigger dietary habit changes or changes in dietary habits because you start to desire certain things. You're craving for certain things. For some people, it's sweets. For me, it's salt. It's potato chips. That's my go-to. Unless you got some really good chocolate cake laying around, I'll take that any day. But otherwise, I'm going for the chips.
Oh, wait a minute. It's not chocolate cake. It's chocolate frosting.
Oh, true. I like the non-cake where there's no cake and it's all frosting. Yeah.
Mine's just chocolate.
Yeah.
I crave chocolate when I'm stressed.
Yeah, just chocolate cake. That's all I care about. Now, I have another actually very, very sad note to pass on here about visceral fat. Studies have been done, and very, very, very sadly, and so if anyone has ever lost anyone, a loved one, a family member, a friend to suicide, first of all, I am terribly sorry for this and for your loss. But do you know, people who commit suicide, typically they don't want to live. I mean, and maybe they've been thinking about it for a little while. Maybe they've been thinking about it for a long, long, long time. This is when we talk about mental health. I mean, there are things going on, and they're considering suicide. And then for those who do it, what they are finding is they have among the highest visceral fat rates in the world and out of humanity. Because their stress level is so high that their cortisol is jacked up so much. They built up so much visceral fat. Obviously, I have not lost anybody to this, and I sure hope I never do, but I know of people who have, and it just is so gut-wrenching and heartbreaking. But here they're losing subcutaneous fat, they're losing weight, they're losing muscle mass, they don't want to live, they're getting lighter, they're getting thinner, and the visceral fat's going way up off the charts. So, and then people with depression. People with depression and high rates of anxiety or high anxiety. I have anxiety issues. I've had them for a long time. Most people who know me, they don't know. If they really know me, they know. But if they don't know me, you probably wouldn't guess. But I'm here confessing on the air. Yes, I have anxiety issues, and I need to get them under control. So, the second hour today, we were going to talk about how to deal with all these things as effectively as possible, and live our longest, best quality of life. That was a fast first hour.
It sure was.
Yeah. So what do you think of all this?
A lot to process.
So we were joking around here this past few days. I've ruined a lot of things for you, haven't I?
Yes, you have.
Like you want to eat this, but Karl said, oh my gosh.
God, no. Or the way I eat my food.
I'm glad you said that. We're going to talk about that too. I want to talk about the order of eating food so that you can keep your blood sugar in check, as healthiest as can possibly be. Well, the music is playing, but we'll be back for another hour after the top of the hour break. This is News Radio 570 WSYR, Karl Sterling with my co-host Elizabeth Brusa. Your Health Matters. Thank you, Producer Sarah, Producer Kyla. We'll be back. Thank you.
The proceeding was a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of this show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of the station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been The following is a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of the show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of this station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information hereafter is for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care physician.
One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you smaller.
Your Health Matters with Karl Sterling on News Radio 570 WSYR on 106.9 FM and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
I think a couple lovers, I down a couple downers, but nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills.
Bring you the latest in health and wellness so you can get to the other things that matter. Here is your host, Karl Sterling.
And we're back for the second hour of Your Health Matters. Well, that was an interesting first hour. Even though I know this stuff, every time I talk about this stuff, I learn more. I think more about whatever it is we're sharing. What do you think of it all, Elizabeth?
It's a lot to process.
Yeah.
And like I said before the break, you've ruined a lot of things for me working with you. And how I think about eating and what I eat.
Boy.
And
Folks, if you want to, come in and have me ruin things for you, just call 315-935-7488. You come in and we'll ruin everything for you. But we'll help you get better, though. We could help you because we actually want to talk about some of the things we can do to help because data is like king, right? With data, we can make informed decisions. And then with knowledge about food and fat and all this, we can make more informed decisions. We can really laser in on our health and help. But, yeah, I can ruin it for you. I'm sorry.
Sorry, you're
but
doing
it's not
it for
my
a good
fault.
reason.
I didn't, Dr. Berry ruined things too for people. I'm just going to continue the tradition. Love you, Dr. Berry. That was me, and I said in fun. So we were talking about good fat versus bad fat. This is the first hour. Well, it's the whole topic today, really. But it sprawls out into a lot of different things. So when we talk about 4 different types of fat, subcutaneous, the fat you can see, belly and, rear end for some folks, or maybe both, or thighs a little bit. Okay, it's up right under the skin. When we have visceral, accumulates around the organs, deep within you, right? That's pretty bad fat, very bad. You don't want to have that stuff around your fat. Very much caused by stress and anxiety. Liver fat, the most dangerous type, can lead to some serious metabolic issues. Sugar and alcohol, they're going to get you on that one. So, you got to watch your sugar intake and definitely watch your alcohol intake. And then the intramuscular fat, which is just in the muscles. Think of a steak, cutting through the steak, you got marble. Well, we have that too. We know the impact of all these can be adding up to be a lot, and it can be rough. But when we look at diet and metabolic health, what are some things we can do to mitigate? Oh, now we get into the, you can really ruin your day, but also talk about some good things. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What you hear is what you get. What you get. I mean, I'm being me. This is the authentic Karl, and you're always yourself.
I am.
So what you hear is what you get. Our banter in the clinic's the same it is on the air. I ruin things for her, and she still works with me, thankfully.
Yeah.
Okay. Whole foods and stress. Whoa. A diet of minimally processed whole foods is recommended to help mitigate both stress and weight gain. Well, that just makes sense. That's a no-brainer. Whole foods. Foods your body will recognize when they come in, and they know what to do with it so they can feed your body and your mitochondria. Because when you have processed stuff going to your mitochondria is not going to function as well. And you won't have as much energy, as much power, as much strength, because mitochondria is the power pack of the cell. So you got to get down to this mitochondrial level. This is baseline. And I want my mitochondria to just be super strong so I can continue pressing out 3,100 pounds on a leg press. That was on our biodensity. But she had my new high the other day, 3,101.
Yes, she did.
Oh, man, I'm still feeling it today, but it feels kind of good in a way. Okay, I just might have bragged a little. So these foods can help maintain metabolic health. And they do it by reducing the impact of stress. These foods help maintain metabolic health by reducing the impact of stress. And improving the body's ability to handle the reactive oxygen species. We would have to do a whole show to really talk about that one. Just trust me, folks, that ROS, or reactive oxygen species, is highly relevant, very important. Google it, you'll learn. Okay. There are misconceptions about food and fat. The belief that food is the primary driver of belly fat. It is challenged with a focus instead on the role of stress and cortisol. All right, so yeah, food can make your belly big. Beer, too much beer, too much anything. Right, so it is suggested though that without chronic stress, excess energy from food is more likely to be stored as subcutaneous fat or liver fat rather than visceral fat. Let's just talk about that again. Because my intonation when I read that actually probably wasn't in the right places of how I should have intonated it. Another new word. I came up with another one a couple of weeks ago called overbeast. You can figure that out on your own. It's 2 words together. It was an accident, too. It suggested that if you do not have chronic stress, let's talk about if you do have chronic stress, you're going to go into visceral fat.
Right.
But if you don't have it, now the excess energy, calories, okay, we're talking about calories, it's more likely to be stored as subcutaneous fat. That would be optimal over liver. But if you're eating a lot of sugar, drinking a lot of alcohol, well, you could be feeding the liver instead. You don't want that. Let me see here. I'm going to move past that next one because I can't explain it well enough. Okay. Fructose has dangers. But before we go to that, let's talk about antioxidants from a diet rich in fruits and vegetables can help to neutralize this reactive oxygen species, protecting the body from harmful effects of ROS. So, I mean, whole foods really just make a lot of sense, don't they? Because if you just think about it, I know Robert Lustig said, I first saw him, I had to be 12, 15 years ago on the Bill Maher show, and I'm watching, and this guy just blew my mind, and he's talking about a calorie is not a calorie necessarily. It is, but it's not. It's really complicated. But if you take a processed calorie or some manufactured thing that's not a whole food and you put it into your body just doesn't know what to do. It's looking like, oh my gosh, this substance is in me. How am I going to metabolize it? Because I really can't metabolize it. Boom. Spike up the pancreas, insulin and all that, maybe. Depends on what it is. Shoot right over to the fat cells and just not give you any nutrients, but you manage to retain a lot of the calories, which turns into fat or wherever it turns into. So,
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you mean whole foods, especially when it comes in fruits and vegetables, you mean taking a piece of fruit and actually eating the fruit instead of buying it in a drink form?
Oh, yeah. I'm really glad you said that. Yeah, we got to go to break in a few seconds, but yeah, that's a subject we should continue to talk about after the break. Good question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, because, if we go in and get a lot of the juices, the fructose and those things, and the added sugar.
Even vegetable juice.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Like VO8.
Because there's preservatives and sodium and all kinds of stuff. So,
sugar.
Time to head out to a break. I love playing the break game because I go right to the last second without going over. And I've got 9 seconds left. So we'll be back. Okay. News Radio 570 WSYR. This is Karl Sterling. Your Health Matters. We'll be back after this break. We're back. Here we are. Still talking about all this food stuff and good fat, bad fat. So, where do you want to go with this? Because, we could talk for days about this. I think it'd be really cool to we've already covered how, liver plays a crucial role in overall metabolic health. Processing nutrients and detoxifying the body. I mean, this is a filter, right?
Yep.
So when it's overloaded, and particularly by fructose or sugars and alcohol, it leads to this fatty liver disease, which is, widespread negative effects on the body. And when it really comes down to it, between this, let's say, fatty liver and visceral fat, we're really looking at things like cancers, heart problems, and, if you got that going on, you probably have gut inflammation. Inflammation, not information. Gut inflammation, and, chronic gut inflammation is going to get you. It could get you maybe in the Alzheimer's arena. Cognitive decline, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. All the experts say Parkinson's, Alzheimer's can live in the gut 10, 15, 20 years prior to making it to the brain. And then it could even take a little while living in the brain for any symptom to be noticeable or evident. So, it's it's really important that we put things in our body that our body can actually process and use as energy, because it's all about the reason we feed ourselves. Well, sometimes it's just because it tastes so darn good. You want to have more. But really what it comes down to is we need to feed ourselves so that we can have energy for cellular growth, for mitochondrial function. No mitochondria, you're dead. So we want healthy mitochondria, healthy cells. We want new mitochondria. We want to grow extra mitochondria. We want vibrant mitochondria so that we can have vibrant energy and be healthy and live long and healthy. That's what it's all about. So what we put in our bodies does matter. Let's see here. Processed food, I have to talk about this. It has an impact. Widespread consumption of processed foods, which are high in added sugars and generally low in nutrients, is identified as a major contributor to global rise in metabolic diseases, including fatty liver disease. Dr. Robert Lustig advocates for greater public awareness about the dangers of processed food. You hear it all the time, so I think we've pretty much done talking about the bad news. We must learn to create habits. We must create habits. If we want to live long and healthy, we need to really take control of what it is that we're feeding ourselves. I'm saying it over and over, but in different ways, because I really want to drive home the point that, a lot of these diseases are actually reversible. Por ejemplo, that's Spanish for example. I feel like speaking Spanish today, but, well, I won't. So anyways, let's see. Let's talk about fructose versus glucose and fructose and honey. And there's a distinction between fructose and glucose. The distinction is emphasized with fructose being identified as particularly harmful when consumed in excess, especially without the fiber and without the antioxidants found in whole fruit. So like you were saying, take a piece of the actual fruit and eat that. Right. Because that kind of glucose is going to be better for you than the manufactured sugars. By the way, 10, 15 years ago, 56 names for sugar. How many do you think there are now?
You told me this the other day, over 200 and something.
Yeah, 222 is what I heard, but it could be more now. You know why? They keep making new fake sugars. Your body doesn't like this. You either do your cells or your mitochondria. Are you tired of hearing about mitochondria yet? I'm not. It's so important. So the whole fruits, I know some experts out there say don't eat fruit. I don't know what to say about that. I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to tell you right now that Grandma used to eat fruit and vegetables, and Grandma lived to be 98.
My grandmother used to grow her own fruits and vegetables and lived to be 80, in her 70s, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grandpa lived to be 97, I think. You know? We have longevity in the family.
You're fortunate.
Yeah, yeah. Honey.
Yes, dear.
Oh, thank you. While honey is often considered a healthier alternative to sugar, it's essentially the same as table sugar in terms of fructose content. So, Dr. Robert Lustig warns about the prevalence of fake honey on the market, which is awesome. Tongue-tied, often just a mix of glucose syrup with artificial flavors. And you see that in a lot of the stores, Really? Don't buy the dollar store honey.
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So you really want to go to the farmer's market. They have some great honey there, or go to a place where they have beehives, right? And get your honey there. Hey, Dr. Bear, you got the beehive still? I heard you do. You got any honey yet? I'm just curious. Right, so honey's like a magical thing. It's just so good. All right.
I didn't realize there was such thing as fake honey. I really didn't realize there was something of called fake honey.
Yeah, a lot of manufacturers. Isn't that really something?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Good to know.
So I think, I think the final advice here, I'm just going to say a takeaway message for all this before we kind of improvise for the last half hour, because I have a few things I'd like to talk about. We can just converse over. Understanding and addressing the real causes of metabolic disease, particularly stress, poor diet, and the consumption of processed foods is essential for improving your health. All right? The experts encourage people to educate themselves. That's why we're here. To track their health indicators and focus on eating real food to protect your metabolic health. Indicators, blood work, maybe a urine test. Your panel's done. You get all the stuff done, and get as much as you can get done so that you can find things out. It's really, really important. They also have continuous glucose monitors, and I know some people who wear them. I've thought about getting one just for a month or two to see what happens when I eat certain things. My son did it. He's the doctor in the family, the PhD, the MD. And he said he learned so much about how his body responds to even the slightest amount of certain types of foods and what it did to blood sugar. So very, very interesting. That's something I want to experiment with this fall. I think in the couple minutes we have before break, I think it'd be kind of cool to talk about, as far as regulating blood sugar. I mean, one way to approach it to try to help regulate it so it doesn't spike up so much is talk about the order in which we eat foods.
Okay.
Do you remember the order?
Yes. A half an hour before you eat, have a 8-ounce glass of water. Then you eat your vegetables. Then you eat the meat, and then your carbohydrates.
Yeah. Carbs last.
Carbs last.
Mm-hmm. So why is that? Well, if you eat the carbs, first of all, the water thing, I have this thing that I've done, and, I actually still do it quite often where I'll take, a can of that seltzer water because I really like seltzer. There's no sugar in it. I probably shouldn't drink as much of it as I do because of the CO2. But my CO2 levels are always high, but they're not above the high normal range, so I think I'm okay. But anyways, I drink a lot of water, too. If I drink water, and I'll tend to drink more like a 16-ounce thing of water, it's going to fill my belly enough, and I usually am not hungry. I might think I'm hungry. So you can trick your body.
Right.
But if you, after 20 minutes, they say if after 20 minutes of drinking water like that, I mean, at least 8 ounces, probably more like a pint, 16 ounces. Well, if you're still hungry, it's time to eat. But that order of eating is really important because if you eat carbs first, your blood sugar is going to spike the most. If you eat the fiber first, the salad, the fibers, the veggies, then that creates a layer. Then we eat the protein. By the time you get to the carbs, you get all this other stuff in your belly, so you won't spike as quickly. It's time for a break, bottom of the hour break. You're listening to Your Health Matters here on News Radio 570 WSYR. We'll be back after this break. Oh, welcome back. Wow, that's a load of information, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Man, yeah. Well, I kind of like to just talk a little bit about some things we do. Before I do that, let's talk about a sponsor, because we can't do the show if we don't have these people sponsoring us.
That's true.
Well, in fact, I'm going to talk about two of them.
Yay. Which two? Which two?
Play On Pain Relief Spray. Play On Relief Pain Spray. We had her on 2-3 weeks ago. Eva Beam. Really nice lady. Fantastic product. If you go to karlsterling.com and then go to the sponsors page, radio sponsors, scroll down, and you'll see where there's a discount code to save some money. We also have it in the clinic. It's $25 a bottle. So you can just come in and grab it. It's really, really cool. It's unlike any of the other treatments, like I never mean to speak badly about any product or any person. I don't do that. I don't say this to speak badly, but, Voltaren has a place, but there's chemicals. There's Blue Emu. I actually love it. It's great. The rock sauce from Rock Tape's really good, but there's chemicals and all this stuff, okay? And I'm a big Rock Tape advocate.
Oh,
so
yes, you are.
we'll have Dr. Capibianco on the show at some point this fall because he's got a lot to share about benefits of kinesiology taping, not just for movement, but pain and bruising and all kinds of things. So anyways, all those things are good. They have a purpose, but Play-On is the best I've ever used. And it's all organic. There's just the ingredients include arnica, menthol, and camphor. All right, and then it has this patented DuraCool technology. And when you spray it on, it applies an invisible medicinal type of film, but this is not medicine. There's no chemicals, no pharma, no nothing, no toxins, no nothing. All organic. And it applies this onto the skin, continuously delivering pain relief wherever you put it. Of course, you got to stay away from the eyes and the mouth and nose and face, but I use it on my left elbow because I have pretty bad arthritis in that elbow. I use it on my left hip, and I haven't needed it much because my hip is feeling a lot better because I've been strengthening it a lot too. But at the same time that it's giving this cooling feeling, it's giving a warming feeling, and that's the DuraCool, right? So it reduces the cellular toxicity, and it provides a really safe alternative than other things for your body. So go and check it out, folks. KarlSterling.com. That's Karl with a K. And we'll talk about another one in a minute here. But, we do a lot of stuff in our clinic. We're very, very muscle-centric. We want people to build enough muscle. I just had an episode yesterday on the Nashville program, building and maintaining sufficient muscle mass throughout the lifetime, which I did that same type of thing on this show back in January. And some people look at me like I have three heads when I talk about it. But, muscle is the foundation for all things movement, and it's metabolism and bone health. Right, so it is an organ, and it's an organ of longevity. Without enough muscle, you don't metabolize as well. Your bones can get brittle, and you can fall down easier because you won't be as able to balance as well. But we can help you build strength. But we're going to help you build your brain at the same time as muscle, balance, mobility, stability, and agility, multitasking. We're a very brain-body training focused place. We do measurements, too, though. Like, for example, if you call me, I'll give you the number in a little bit, or text me or email me. It's all on the website. The phone number, the email, you can call or text me. KarlSterling.com is Karl with a K. We can help you set up an appointment. It's not free, but it doesn't cost a fortune either. You can have your body composition done. And if you want to invest in a VO2 resting and VO2 max testing, we do that too. Our VO2 equipment is really, really the highest grade product available on the planet for that type of testing. And you get data you cannot possibly get in any other way, shape, or form. Not blood, not saliva, not urine, not nothing. You only get it through measuring breath. And like you said, this should be like a routine thing, right?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, it should just be a prescription. Get your blood, get your urine, get your whatever, and get your breath analyzed because so much information comes out of it. Then with this information, and the body comp takes you like 10 seconds of standing on this device, and then it takes me about 2 minutes to write it down, and then we talk about it. We're going to know, first of all, how much you weigh, but where the weight lives in your body. All right, you're going to find out your visceral fat, your metabolic age, your hydration level, your bone mineral density count, your metabolic rate, your total body fat, segmental body fat, total muscle mass, segmental muscle mass. Segments means each arm, each leg, and trunk. And we look at where do you fall in the ranges of, health. Are you healthy? Are you under muscled? Are you under fat? Some people have too little fat and they need to gain some. It's not super common, but it does happen. Some people are definitely under-muscled. Some people have way too much fat and not enough muscle. So we need to shift that. But if you call us up, set up an appointment, we'll get you in, and we can talk about, you're not going to get a sales, I'm not a sales guy.
No.
We had that really lovely couple yesterday. I love them.
Oh, yes. They were great.
Phil and Marilyn came in.
Yep.
If you're listening, we had a blast.
Yeah, we enjoyed your company.
Yeah. And, I think that, what's cool is from her text, I got the spirit of a really positive, upbeat person trying to support her husband with what he deals with. I won't say anything more than, I don't want to reveal anything or give identities away. But at the same time, until you get in to see us, you don't know. You can't even imagine what we have, right?
Yep.
So, holy guacamole.
It's amazing.
It's getting to be the coolest place. Like, I love going there every day.
Me too. Me too.
Really?
Yes.
You want to work extra hours then?
No.
Okay.
Much as I love it, I do get a little tired.
Oh, it can be really exhausting.
The things we do it's really unique to work there. Since it's been 2 years this past week, August 8th,
right,
that I started working with you. And I've learned so much and seen so much. I've enjoyed it so much. I can't even go on, people, about what I've learned. I mean, you just got to come in. And I've met some wonderful, wonderful people dealing with all sorts of situations in life.
It is a community, too.
It is a community.
Yeah.
Not only have I learned from Karl, I learned from our clients that come in, which is wonderful.
Oh, it's really great. We have such a great group. And I wanted to have a community. So that is by design, except that the end result came out to be just way beyond what I thought it could be as far as friendships that are developed. This isn't like, 40,000-foot gym. We're talking 2,600 square feet.
Yep.
So, like, when you come in, you'll be introduced.
Yes, we do.
You will. I go out of my way. We go out of our way to make sure everybody is introduced to everybody. Because you can't be in the room and ignore somebody. That would just be plain old weird.
Well, you can, but it's just different.
You really can't. Plus, we have the best coffee in the world, don't we?
Yes, that stuff is black gold. Black gold.
It's like kilos I brought back from Mexico. See? Yeah, I did. I brought back kilos of coffee, and the dogs got me at the airport, but they also let me through. So, yes, we do a lot of assessments that nobody else does because they can't, because they don't have what we have, but we can determine your center of gravity.
Oh, we got else. Yeah, the convent.
We can see, do you have a forward lean? You don't know it. Do you lean left? Do you lean right? Do you lean back? Do you lean diagonal? I mean, because a lot of people have a leg that's presents shorter than the other.
Me.
And guess what? Almost all the time, their leg's not shorter than the other.
It's usually the
Once
hip.
in a while, there's a leg shorter than another leg, but usually it's a hip differential or pelvic shift. That's something we work on, and that can be causing pain. That can be causing low back pain, knee pain, neck pain, maybe pain I didn't mention because I can't think of it right now, but that's something I get people on the table working on that every day, especially sciatic issues. We do a lot with low back sciatic stuff, and, well, I guess what I wanted to say earlier before I forget is we see people get results, though.
Yes.
And it's not because, like, either one of us is that special. Well, you are. I'm just a normal guy. But
I'm not special.
But it's because they do the work. They get off the table, their pain is completely gone. They come in with a walker or in a wheelchair, and yes, she wrote me a question. Yes, his pain went completely away Friday. A friend of ours who came in the other day worked on the low back sciatic stuff, gone, completely gone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we bungeed him up in the new gate, had him walking. Now, there's a little discomfort with that, but also and plus the new thing, Jackie, if you're listening, thank you. We had a really nice gift of a new machine last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that thing, it's really helping work through a lot of hip pain issues, mobility. Even Sherry the other day. Sherry, the doctor who came in, she's like, oh, my gosh, I can take longer steps now, longer strides. My hips feel all better. We got to go to a break in a minute or a few seconds. So we'll come back for the last quarter after this message. This is Your Health Matters with Karl Sterling, Elizabeth Brusa, here on News Radio 570 WSYR. We'll be right back. All right, gang, we're back for the last quarter. I want to just talk about one more sponsor here. It's the Dr. Lewis Brain Care Formula. I might not have said it right, so let me go back here. Dr. Lewis Daily Brain Care. Well, you've heard it before. I'm going to say it again. Go to karlsterling.com, Karl with a K. I've been using this stuff for the better part of a year, and what I find is that my mental clarity is much better. I especially notice it when I don't take it, where I'm not as clear as I was when I was taking it. And I like to do that kind of thing. I like to experiment and get off of something after I'm on it and see, because, you get adjusted. You just adjust to things, and it becomes your new norm. Well, if you take it away, what's that norm? Do you like that norm? Is it okay? Well, I prefer to take the daily brain care because my new norm when I'm on it, I have mental clarity. And, I was saying anxiety, stress has been really high lately. And, I'm okay. But this does help me to alleviate some of it because I'm able to focus better. Because when I don't focus well, I'm going to tell you that my anxiety really goes up, and that's when it shows up. People know there's something wrong with that guy. Walking around pulling my hair out. I don't really have any hair, but I mean, couple that I have, I pull them right out. So go to karlsterling.com, Karl with a K, and, click on it. Just order some. The capsules or the powder. A lot of people like the capsules, so just get them. We'll have them back in stock this week. Right now we're out, but it's very popular, so people buy it, and they like it, and they keep buying it. All right, that's the last sponsor of the show. I want to talk about some upcoming guests. Next week, Dr. Steven Sideroff is going to join us for the full 2 hours. He wrote a game-changing book, which I really love, and it's called The 9 Pillars of Resilience. Okay? So all I can say, folks, is I've never heard about resilience the way he wrote about it, because he writes about it from a brain-changing form like neuroplasticity. How to be resilient and success through neuroplasticity. This is a game changer. I've never seen anything like it. You don't want to miss this one. I talked with Dr. Dale Bredesen about a week and a half ago. That show is 2 hours. It's going to run on Sunday, the day before Labor Day. It's pre-recorded. He has a new book coming out next year about the aging brain, how to take care of it. And he talks about some stuff. He added new stuff he talked about since he was on back in February with Dr. Berry. Dr. Robert Lufkin will be on this fall. He's another best-selling author. And Dr. Casey Means, we're going to record on sometime this month, and then I'm going to run that show probably pre-recorded the week before the Bredesen show, I think. I can't guarantee it, but I'll know next week. And so you and we might not be in the studio for a couple weeks. We can take a little time off. But Dr. Casey Means wrote my favorite book of the year called Good Energy. I'm telling you, this is the game changer of all game-changing books. Just get it. You got to get the book. This will change your life. All right. That's the end of that. What else we got?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about? Moving? Getting more people? How do we convince people to get up and move? How do we convince you out there?
Movement is life.
Yeah.
Sedentary is death.
I always say, they always say that the beginning of this year, January 1st, one of the biggest things New Year's resolution is to get moving and get healthier and start a diet. And then week 2 of January, everybody quits.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah,
my thing is everybody goes out, buys a treadmill. What?
I know.
What?
On the way, earlier today we were talking about instant results people want?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, you don't get them. Well,
Yeah,
this
no,
is
I love
my
that
thing.
because it's so true. I mean, you didn't get this way overnight. How are you going to get a result in a week or a month,
Well-
or after 10 sessions of one-on-one with me? Well, you could get some and learn what to do and go do it on your own. Do you have the discipline? If you do, great. If not, or can you just do anything? It doesn't have to be one-on-one with me. You could just go anywhere and do anything. Go out and walk every day. Anything.
But you don't have to think you're going to walk a mile your first day. Just go walk for 5 minutes, and then the next day make it 5 minutes and 30 seconds, or then keep. That's how I do it. That's how I did it on one of my art machines at the clinic. I started off, couldn't do it for even a minute, and then
working with a wonderful lady
right.
who had a brain tumor.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, she's wonderful.
And she had bypass surgery the year before.
Oh, I did not know that. Oh yes, I did know that. I'm sorry.
So guess what? She's determined, and she's doing so well. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I mean, the results we're seeing, her strength is going up every time. We can see the numbers going up, and on the graph that prints out from one of the machines we have. Plus, she's walking faster and longer.
Yes, she's doing great.
She's using that new machine, the Octane Zero Runner,
Yeah.
helping with hip mobility. She has turned that corner. She has flipped over to the next level. But what I want to say is, when you said, walk a little bit, go a little further, she was going like one driveway up the road with a walker.
Right.
A while back. And then the next day, one driveway further, another driveway further. But pretty soon, within a couple of weeks or whatever, she's going to the end of the cul-de-sac and back.
She's amazing.
Which is, a few hundred yards. So it's really cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, so you just have to take those steps because you didn't get this way overnight. And, of course, she was in the hospital for a longer time than she anticipated. When you're in a hospital, you atrophy fast. When you're bedridden, you atrophy fast. So they say it takes about a week to build back the strength you lose in one day. So imagine you're in for 8 weeks.
Right.
Whoa. That's how many days? 8 times 7, 56? Take you a year. Well, it doesn't have to take a year if you really put your mind to it, but it takes time. So you didn't get this way overnight, so you can't expect to be all better next week, next month, and you just have to stop giving up and stay getting started all the time and keep moving. So, we hope you'll call us, 315-935-7488. Had a phone call here a little while ago. If I don't go back right to you, if you're listening, just know I will call today sometime. We have kind of a busy day. But I appreciate everybody listening and keeping us in the number one show position.
That's really neat.
Oh, my gosh. So cool.
In a million years, I never thought I'd be in this position with you.
I never thought I'd be here either, but it's a beautiful gift from God. And Dr. Barry, thanks for building the listener base. And Hunter Hillers, thanks for all you do. And producer Sarah, Kyla, thank you. Well, we get the music. We got to bolt out of here. And so next week we're back with Dr. Steven Sideroff. It's going to be really cool. The 9 Pillars of Resilience. All about neuroplasticity, changing your brain for success. I can't wait. Remember, 315-935-7488. 315-935-7488. Karl Sterling. That's Karl with a K.com. Have a great week, folks.
Bye, everyone.
Keep moving.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The preceding was a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of this show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of the station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information has been for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care physician.
I'm Victoria Cash, and I want to invite you to a place called Lucky Land, where you can play over 100 social casino-style games for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. So what are you waiting for? The best way to discover your luck is to spin. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com. That's LuckyLandSlots.com. And get lucky today. At Lucky Land. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.